So I'm going to review the novel Hakyoku by Haruka Tono. And Hakyoku can literally be translated into, let's say, catastrophe or, breakdown or, these things. And in this novel, the protagonist is a college student who is studying to become a public servant. In Japan, to study to become a public servant is considered to be one of the glamorous careers for a college student, especially in the humanities. And so this student is studying to be a public servant, and also he's training his body, and he's playing rugby, I think, or American football, whatever. Yeah, so this sport, and he is dating two girls. So it is the novel is describes a life, the life of a typical university student. Although since this student is supposed to be a student at Keio University. Keio University is one of the prestigious private universities in Japan. So that connotation is that this male student probably comes from a affluent family, so that he would have some free privileges in terms of material needs, and also probably uh, being popular with girls, because a KO University student with that kind of background and who is pursuing a serious career would be very attractive seen from the point of view of a girl. So the protagonist is probably popular among girls. So that's a kind of background to this novel. And the most interesting aspect of this novel is the style, prose style. It's very simple, and it sometimes describes the protagonist's self-reflection on his motives, the principles and reasons behind his actions, and that is, of course, deliberate. I mean, the author, Haruka Tono, is making this character who is based on this idea of rationality, maximization of evaluation function, rather like artificial intelligence systems in today's world. But another aspect, interesting aspect of this novel is that from time to time, the tone of the novel changes abruptly, and something totally new and something totally alien is inserted. Like this, you know, reflection on childhood episode by one of his girlfriends, which is stopped in at the climax. So we don't know the outcome of the incident, but it is a horrific incident, and the girl all of a sudden narrates that childhood traumatic memory to the boyfriend, but it's stopped by the interruption of a mutual friend, and so we don't know the result of that brief traumatic incident in the in her childhood. But this structure of very simple narrative of what this male student is up to with his girls, dating, studying, and so on, and the occasional intrusion of completely different context, and it's musically really satisfying. I mean, after all, contemporary novels are a form of art woven by natural languages, and this novel by Haruka Tono reads like work of art. I mean, it's a work of art, and I can describe the plot to you, but describing the plot to you wouldn't do justice to the experience of actually reading this novel. So you have to read it. I am not aware if there's any such plan to translate this novel into English or other languages, but if you can read Japanese, it will be a wonderful experience to read this novel because it gives you a really unique phenomenal experience while you're reading it, and it's this contrast between the narrowly defined rationalization of a student's life and the intrusion of totally different contexts and alien aspects of life, which ultimately leads to the catastrophe at the end of this novel. So I think, taken together, I think this novel is a critical statement on the kind of student life that a typical university student in Japan leads. And also, it is, I think, a critical assessment of the civilization that we are living in, because are we pride ourselves on basing our lives on rationality. You know, helped perhaps nowadays by artificial intelligence systems, but we all know that is not the end of the story, right? I mean, life is about black swan events and motives that are not known even to the protagonist. And this novel addresses that really acute problem in today's society. So it is worth reading this novel, Haruka Tono's Hakyoku Catastrophe. It's a good read.